sweep. I feel like everyone is just a little bit. Then the Longzhu fans will pipe up again in game number 5 because we've made it. We've gone the distance at that particular point. See, SKT's draft, terrifying, as we were discussing earlier, but Longzhu feeling like they've got their rookie in a better position, and they've got comfort still across the board.
They invested their support, actually, to go to top side to guarantee the vision that they were granted from their early invade in game number 3, but we see an invade by Longzhu also. Getting rid of the saplings and contesting the start from Maokai as well, so deep vision afforded to both teams, and was a vertical jungling in game 1. We might have it here too, Atlas.
Yeah, actually looking to switch over to the other side of the map, though, as Blank considering a contest, but Cuz wanting to utilize the added power that he has with the Gragas in his hands now. Gorilla's actually moving himself up. It's going to be 1 versus 2 as far as Frey is concerned, but could this make the difference? As Khan just going so aggressive. His extra level 1 power is massive, and you can see Blank just concedes. He'll move towards his bottom side on this Maokai. And will his extra practice, his extra prowess in the jungle and experience on stages like this help him deal with what is looking pretty similar to the situation that he put Cuz in game 3?
Very interesting to see Cuz not actually kill the big raptor, not going to return to the jungle. If he had gone for the full camp clear, they would have had the respawn time and been able to contest Maokai. But they don't put trust in that, even though they have pushing lanes in the majority, in fact in all 3 on paper, and they just go for the camp ruin by just not taking the big raptor. They got the level 2, they get the red buff steal. But now Longzhu control the top side of the jungle, which does allow Jace to just push up confidently and have Cho'Gath just be under turret, doing his best to pick up the CS when Khan damn well chooses to push it up.
Oh, and a good hook coming out from Gorilla once again. Massive damage as the trap was put down expertly. Prey actually a second one there.
Old school kill lane.
Yeah, it's a cute one.
And Thresh. No Ignite used by Gorilla. Would have maybe been able to draw out a summoner from it, but it wasn't guaranteed. So they just chose not to.
That's level 3 to level 1, possibly.
Good point. Huni skilled the Rupture level 1 to try to contest the Raptors. Thought he might pick up some Raptor experience.
Oh, another max range hook goes down. The Ignite's there, but the heal, even though there is grievous wounds, is able to negate the damage. Just over 100 health now for Bang, as this is the bottom lane that we saw in games 1 and 2 coming out from Longzhu. This is the power of the Kate Thresh, and in the hands of these veterans, these experts of their field, just looks like a joy to watch for a Longzhu fan, and a nightmare for SKT.
And Mata had a day out against Bang's Tristana in game 1 and game 2 of the Telecom War semi-final. Caitlyn is on 715. The trap nerfs are not there. She is much higher power than she is on 716 that we see in all the other regions. So Caitlyn has been not a preferred pick. Obviously harder to play her in solo queue, so different, and will start to fall away in other regions, but power level is higher here. There's a pseudo kill lane going on as, well, Huni's got experience, so he's got that going for him.
Hey, at least has a bit of farm as well. Just being bullied. Khan's just a big meanie.
Moved up to 9-1 on the season on the Jace. Allowed it here as well.
Oh, Shock Blast comes in. 300 health for Huni as Cuz. He's putting the pressure onto Blank as well. And there's nothing that this tiny little Cho'Gath can do. The top side of the map, BDD actually having a fine time here in the mid lane. Actually 1 creep ahead of Faker. He does have the experience lead as well and is able to get this roam towards the top side. Only level 5, no Weaver's Wall, but still looking to try and get himself here. Affect this possible gank on 2 members of SKT. Shock Blast, massive damage as Longzhu is bringing himself over there, going for the dive as Blank in so much trouble. The flash is coming out from everyone, but that's going to be first blood going to Khan. Huni still underneath his turret in so much trouble, and teleport has to be brought out from Faker so that movement from BDD not punished.
I want to talk about a small movement as well. You saw Cuz start to walk towards the turret as the teleport was being channeled. He did that because he wanted Faker to complete the teleport, not be able to push in multiple minion waves in the mid lane. So he actually did his mid laner a favor, forcing Faker to go all the way to topside, recall by items. And it's a small thing like that that is a real glimmer of hope for Longzhu fans, because it's a veteran decision.
One-man army here in this lane, while it's just Prey eating up creeps to the best of his ability. Currently ahead by a gigantic margin here for 5 minutes in the game. Closer to 6 as Khan once again sets himself up position beyond the the caster creeps.
And we were really worried about Longzhu's pick and ban. That's why we were really going back and forth saying, but how can they not allow the invade onto Zach play? And it doesn't have to be Zach, could have been a Sejuani as well. They changed their draft so dramatically with the 2 bans on blue side. How's this spotted here by Huni, who now knows he's in a lot of trouble.
Yep, there it is. Weaver's Law comes down as well. It's just BDD wanting to get himself over for this kill that he's hungry for. Pops up into the sky as if he's saying hooray as he takes down Huni in the rupture. And Huni, this is a very different look for the detective this time around.
And in that losing streak, they had to sub out Huni in situations like this after he got ganked after gank, chain ganked on Rumble, the most famous time. This time, Cho'Gath's one big weakness as a laner, high sustain, ability to have solo kills. But if he loses his flash, if you can gank him, he's got a large target and he's not able to turn around ganks very well. Specifically not with the extra burst from the Feast. So they do everything but take down the turret. There's not even any rush to take down the turret, Atlas. It's just another place they can return to again and again.
And look at Khan's face as well. This guy is all business moving into this game number 4. And honestly, it feels like game number 3 didn't even happen. Often you see SKT do this to a team. They did it to KT immediately. Triggered. We have to like try a completely different strategy in order to beat this team. And SKT rolls over them one after the other. It looks like there's no way in. This time, Longzhu just do exactly what SKT did to them. They say, well, I don't care. I'm going to pick up the Gragas now. I'm going to invade your jungle, and we're going to decimate your top laner. That's precisely what's happened.
Sort of pick-ban strategy adjustment that we did not see from KT Rolster. They were not able to make this happen, and they left the turret up so they could gank again, just to be clear.
Yep, well, the Rupture is going to hit the fat guy, but Huni is going to get beaten to a pulp. Oh my god, Khan doesn't miss a shock blast, and will just wander his way out. Faker and Blank say,
they got a front row
wander
seat
back to their respective areas.
They got a front row seat to Huni being roasted like a marshmallow. Nothing they could do in that scenario. They kept up the turret, and I feel like Huni should have known that. It could have been easily taken by Jace, but the only reason you don't take a turret is because you're winning the lane so damn much.
The Yordle Collector himself, Gorilla, trying to lock down Bang. Another Ignite goes down. Good shield comes in from Wolf to try and keep him up. But oh my goodness, these headshots pray. He's looking for more. Has the ultimate available, remember? No, he doesn't. Actually, had already used that previously. I tell a lie, so not going to have that lockdown damage. But look at this, BDD, so much space. Faker, the next order on his menu. And Khan, because of that movement from BDD, easily able to grab that first brick on the top side. And this is erupting into beyond a 3,000 gold lead at 9 minutes into this game. Not quite the lead SKT had, but Longzhu looking fantastic here at match point in game number 4.
And just like game 2, they need to keep their foot on the accelerator. You talked about the super tanks. That will come with time. Cho'Gath, when he's emaciated, when he doesn't have items, when he can't even get feast stacks because he's desperate for a level 6 of his own. 9 minutes in, only level 5. 3 levels below Khan. He's not much of a frontliner. He only does a modicum of burst. He does not achieve much. Youmuu's Ghost Blade already complete on Jace. God. He is a monster. And this is actually the safer choice of the 2 Serrated Dirk items that you can complete. Most people in solo queue would go Duskblade for the burst, but with Youmuu's, he can sidestep the ruptures so easily. He can open up space and dodge skill shots, and that's more important than just that little bit of extra burst.
And when you have mechanics like Khan does, having that extra mobility is so much more important, so I certainly respect that. Package forced out. BDD was looking for that seismic shove. Khan was setting himself up here, and my god, the chunk damage onto Faker. What do? I don't think you do much against that. That was just a Jace erupting out of nowhere. I know he looks like a gentleman. In fact, my outfit looks kind of similar right now.
You're quite debonair. You're quite dapper over there, Atlas.
As a you, Papa Smithy. However, it was white coats. White coats. You know, that was what I meant. As Gorilla behind enemy lines, but he's with Cuz BDD. He's going to turn up as well. Battle Dance gets Wolf the wrong direction, but Bang and Wolf do both make their way out. Khan turns up a little bit late to the party, but it should open up this bottom outer turret, and you can see exactly what Longzhu want to do. They have this composition that has the Caitlyn. They can move it around. They've got a Weaver's Wall to block off any enemies. They can just strategically destroy the base of SKT.
And you complete the teleport, Atlas, and even accept if Cho'Gath can full rotation the top lane tower, which he can't, he backs away because Infernal Drake is the first spawn. The dream when you're wanting top lane Jace and 4 members that profit off of Infernal. Exactly the sort of Drake RNG they were looking for. For the first time, Faker looks pretty subdued in his play on Corki. Game is far from over, but this is the Longzhu draft they were looking for in much the same manner that we would have said about SKT in Game 3.
Yep. And we asked the question of Talia into Corki. Faker made Corki look like a counter pick into Talia against Pawn, against Crown, against all of these seasoned Talia players. As Khan, good flash. Just wanders out of the rupture there as well. It seems like you can't get him when he's playing Jace. The comfort is too strong.
He's just so good at knowing his limits, Atlas. He didn't get a chance to know them. His limits were basically a gray screen in game number 3, but game 1, 2, and now 4.
Yeah.
He's just so good at understanding mechanically where and what he needs to do. Even macro-wise, smarter than you would expect with how good his macro are.
And look, this is the story where we expect SKT to be winning game number 4, to be doing that back-to-back, that reverse sweep against KT, against Longzhu. That's how the story feels like it should be going, based on the fact that they managed to get the red side. They get the counter pick for Huni. They get all these opportunities. And it just feels like Longzhu said, well, we're going to throw that script the heck out the window because we know what we want to do. We'll take this game in our own hands. And they've got a massive lead to bring us towards 15 minutes.
And it's so damn attractive to watch. It's the spirit of the Rocks Tigers that was lost after the roster changes in 2016. It's relentlessly aggressive. It's pushing for every advantage. They are not the control team. They are the firecracker, and the firecracker's popping off all over the map.
And that was a zoning seismic shove that got an extra few auto attacks onto that turret for Prey. In the meantime, what they were preparing in their kitchen earlier was Cuz taking down the Rift Herald, which he can set up if he wants to. But there's now no more turret. It's almost like he's bothered by the fact that they've done so incredibly well towards the mid lane. Now with his Void Touch passive, we'll see whether they move towards the inner turret on the bot side of the map or whether they're looking to continue anything forward. This feels like Longzhu have so many options. Prey going for this turret destruction build with the Zeal item coming in after the BF sword. Don't necessarily need the crit of an Infinity Edge if you're just going to be hitting those buildings.
And it's been so surreal that Caitlyn has been looked over so many games in a row. Because we keep sitting there saying, guys, it's patch 7.15, guys, it's patch 7.15.
Yeah,
because
she's still good.
7.16 is being played in every other region. And I think it is small things like, well, can't practice her in solo queue, different Caitlyn, different laning power spikes than from before. Doesn't have the same sort of oomph. A lot had changed about Caitlyn on patch 7.16. And it's that weird thing. We actually see this quite often when we know that a patch change is coming a week later. People just stop playing a champion that's nerfed because it's like, well, I haven't practiced it as much. Like, what's the point of even doing it? Or they start playing
champions that aren't buffed yet. It's like Rek'Sai turns up before she was buffed or changed. And we're like, but beyond, it didn't quite work.
And that's the eccentricities of delayed patch cycles.
Yeah.
But Caitlyn is still very, very powerful. The most recent nerf, if you're losing track of patches, was the extra attack speed per level, which hurts her in the late game. But the traps still do plenty of damage. The sieging and the laning phase is oppressive, and it's a great answer to what Tristana and Rakan want to do, because they can go toe-for-toe, shove in their face, and stop there from being any satchel charges on enemy turret.
Yeah, and the only, exactly right. The only change from busted first ban necessary Caitlyn is attack speed per level. There's absolutely nothing else. And we saw when players were playing on this patch that she was still #1 ban.
On the new patch, extra damage fall off for your Q means you can't wave clear as safely or as quickly as before. The traps make your late game worse. Those are not live here in Cuz. They want an inner turret. Cuz has been a happy man. They could interrupt this if they wanted to invest a flash, but not worth it.
Yep, they don't have to though. Cuz just going to set himself up with a cute little present that they do not want to be walking over, as that's the free charge, full health on the Rift Herald, doing a lot of work to take this one down, and Prey free hitting. 3
control wards on the right side as well. On the right side, nowhere safe to go. Traps to go, no teleport to happen.
And we were talking about an SKT masterclass in game number 3. Game number 4 is, it's like Longzhu were taking that class throughout this entire time, and their macro movements, their play around this map has also looked towards that level. It's just felt like the puzzle pieces have fallen in place one after the other, the dominoes just falling over pristinely.
You know, I tweeted early in the season, around the time they started to get good, I was pretty damn excited about Longzhu Gaming.
Yeah.
And then the patch changed, and I was like, well, we don't see Khan playing the top lane tanks. That's
we
gonna
didn't
count
know whether
against them.
we could be excited.
We got all the way to the grand final, and I said, well, there's be able to see them beat SKT. You had to predict SKT based on the data, but that's because there was no data for Longzhu Gaming in the last 3 weeks, and they have stuck to their style, and they have also bucked the trend of rookies crumbling at the knees when they take a bad game. Game 3 was as bad as possible for Longzhu.
And for Cuz especially.
And they managed to steady the troops like Cuz, who took it with a stride. Blank himself in game 4, and from here, will they go on and win it? We're still not to know. They're in a wonderful position halfway through game 4, but even that, even just seeing that from Longzhu makes me so excited to see them going forward, because we know it doesn't take a single punch to land onto Longzhu Gaming for them to fall. They'll come back up and look for a brawl.
Yep. And if they don't win this, of course, they do have to play through that Worlds qualifier that's going to be happening next week. And if it's Longzhu winning here, that they have set themselves up to do, it will be KT Rolster. It does mean that next week is going to be a treat no matter what, Pop Smithy. Still. Now just going to pick up this wave. There's an Infernal Drake going to be spawning. I'm glad that they showed this one. Oh. Double Infernals for Longzhu and match point. 6,000 gold in the lead. Double serrated Dirks already. For Khan. Oh God, it couldn't get any better than that.
People were asking if it was a scripted series when we had a reverse sweep telecom war. Wait, hold the point.
Yeah, SKT. Actually looking for this one is Cuz. Oh, flashes on top of the Latin Gorilla. So good. Wants the hook onto blank, but doesn't find it. Not sure how Cuz survived, to be perfectly honest. That's the Weavers while blocking up the mount. Maokai. It is going to be the flash gain out of Longzhu. Good trade.
Flashes for one, so Longzhu even trade up when it looked like Cuz was stuck hopelessly. Your mind flashed back to the sort of catches that happened in the previous series.
Whoa,
catches.
Yeah, flashes. Actually, Gorilla was looking for it. Doesn't even matter. BDD locks down the kill. I felt when the hook went wide that it might have been a little bit too much trust, but it doesn't matter. I just didn't trust enough, and Khan knew exactly what he was capable
and
of.
Can just move over and taxi the minion wave into the inner turret in the bot lane. They already have the mid lane inner. It's free. That's what happens when you get free time with Caitlyn and also the Jace. We're running out of easy objectives, Atlas. They're almost all down. Because Longzhu's ahead of schedule in so many different ways.
Yeah, they can't even now go back and grab a Baron because we're still a minute and a half away from that one. As well, 2-0-1 now for BDD on his Talia. He's had such an incredible performance. I want to see his KDA for this exact tournament because I don't actually have it in front of me, but he has not died a lot. They lost a game. He didn't die. Just absolutely ridiculous. We're asking the questions of BDD versus Faker. It's not necessarily been that storyline for this series. It hasn't been about the mid lane matchup necessarily. It's about how they augment the rest of their team. We know what BDD does with this Talia.
3,000
so
gold
impressive.
lead in top. 3,000 gold. They got a 1,200 gold lead in the mid lane as well.
For context, that's like a Bloodthirster ahead.
Well, this is pretty expensive, but it's a big item ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't help but soak in some of the storylines, return to them, even though the match isn't over, even though SK Telecom could still win.
Yeah.
Seeing SKT camp a brush. Good scrying off spots them, though.
The smites have been pretty good. And once again, it is going to be successful. Dark Passage gets him out. Gorilla, the savior of Longzhu. Tarek was an interesting choice in game number 3. His Thresh has looked so incredibly good.
The only storyline we haven't talked about is that Rox Tigers achieved a lot in 2 years. Their 2015 and 2016 brought so many fans in Korea and around the world. They won the LCK. They never won Worlds. But remember, they never beat SK Telecom in that big final. Prey and Gorilla have never done it. Yeah. It would mean so much for those two in particular. In the most unlikely of fashion, you had to look at the members they surrounded themselves with largely as a downgrade. But they are so close to engineering the finals win they never got.
And Khan so close to beating the heck out of Huni as well. Doesn't avoid the rupture as there's the feast. One more auto attack to flash the feast. Oh, Baker is going to come in and make it a 1-for-1, but not able to save him like he did last time.
Pings onto Baron though instantly. They could be able to answer here. Baker used his teleport, will get a turret for it, but isn't able to respond to the top side. Smart move from Longzhu to start Baron. You see Baker back away. Don't know if he has a special delivery in base. I think he does.
This could be opportunistic from Longzhu though. They've got a ward, does SKT, and it hasn't been cleared out just yet.
This is the pivotal moment
to block things off. Wolf doesn't have smite, so he's not going to be the situation here as it's going to be taken. The hook lands onto Wolf as well as Battle Dance. So much damage as the black board from BDD locks it down. Flank as well. In so much trouble. Baker trying to be the hero. He does so much damage and takes down BDD, but the damage has been done by Longzhu. Double Infernal Dragon. Now the Baron buff onto 4 members, I believe, unless Khan was still dead, but still. Massive take here from Longzhu.
Only 3 Baron buffs. We get the confirmation that Khan did not pick up the buff, so that's unfortunate for the side of Longzhu. But they get one of the catch-up mechanics for SKT, the Baron buff, off the map. We saw it already in game number 2. If you're against a siege comp and get Baron, Baker will have to just Valkyrie away. Had to flash. Huni wasn't body blocking there, but it all happened in an instant. We're not going to wave our fingers too much at Huni, but we said it in game 2. This is the way to stop a siege comp. It's to get Baron. When the siege comp gets Baron, minimum here is going to be epically breaking the base, and only SKT can start to fish with a rupture. It's not going to stop anything from Longzhu.
Who can freely walk forward and soak these traps as well, as you can see how much damage even Huni's taking as the big beefy Cho'Gath.
I mean, he's got a budget build. He's not even got a Warmox at 22 minutes in the game. It's just going to be the Righteous Glory and some health. Nothing else to speak about. So those crits are still going to be registering pretty decently onto the Cho'Gath, but they'll back away and wait for the next minion wave to spawn.
Oh, this line of control wards as well, denying any vision from SKT outside of their base gate. Huni still very, very low, is now taking a lot more damage. The base is broken in the mid lane, but can they get something back here on the side of SKT? Bang has taken down Cuz at least as Khan turning it around against Baker. Oh my god, that damage with the shock blast picks up Baker and Huni. It's going to be Prey cleaning up on the back end. Khan is still alive. My god, Blank is going to survive, but he couldn't do anything against the gigantic chase.
He's still zoning away Blank. They can at minimum get 2 inhibitors here, but they might try to end the game, Atlas.
They could just go for the game. They've got the Baron buff still rotating around them. Nexus turrets now under siege. The Cinderella story, the fairy tale that we were talking about could now be a reality unless the Natured Drafts can actually get some work done. On the side of Blank, they take down Gorilla, but all the damage is still here. Khan turns off. Blank should die as Wolf comes in, and that will stop some of the damage, and Longzhu will back away for the moment.
We take a deep breath. They realize they are unlikely to be able to end the game even with blank dying. They back away, but get a couple of picks and you can end the game in the face of the super tanks. We know they can soak, but not soak that well with how far behind Maokai and Cho'Gath are, and the damage will register from the side of Longzhu Gaming. Is this the moment you can get excited? Is this the moment you can believe that SK Telecom, who have gone 4 years with never losing an LCK or Champions Final, will actually bleed? Because this is as close as any team has ever gone.
I challenge you to not be excited watching Longzhu right now. Khan, this play was absolute god tier. Wolf had to flash because it would have just been the W in hammer form that would have taken him down. Khan is so big. And they are teetering on an LCK victory from 7th place in the spring split to first and champions of LCK Summer 2017. An unheard of result. 5,000 gold
lead Atlas for the Jace, more than 5,000, and being kind to the side of Huni. It is just the most unbelievable story. No coach, no analyst, no caster predicted a Longzhu victory. How could you? But they are rewriting expectations. They are showing that they used their time in the last few weeks to make it work, and they want to end it here.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall's going to split up SKT as Huni just on the wrong side of this battle. They can just focus down this next, and that's what Bray is starting to do. Wolf jumps his way through the quickness. Just going to spell his death as Blank is not tanky right now. The Beast doesn't do anything. Baker's going to explode as the massive damage from Bray is going to say goodnight to the king of the mid lane. The Nexus falls, and your new champions of the LCK is Longzhu Gaming.
Longzhu Gaming have proved that fairy tales come true. How could they ever beat SK Telecom T1, the team that had never lost a Champions or LCK final, that had only ever dropped 3 games in 6 best-of-5s. They dropped 3 games today with a roster that no one saw coming. If you predicted Longzhu to finish top 5, you would have been laughed out of the room by everyone. If you predicted Longzhu to win the grand final, they still would have been laughing Atlas, but no one is laughing today. There are tears in the eyes of Longzhu's faces, because they have beaten the champions, they have beaten the gods, and Longzhu Gaming are going to Worlds.
And there is no better way to do it either. 4-game series, completely crushed in game 3. Looked like their spirits were down, but they come back and return the favor in game number 4. Utter dominance from Longzhu Gaming.
If you piss off Faker, he will come back stronger. If you piss off Longzhu Gaming, they as a team will engineer your downfall. Huni beside himself. Wonderful game in game 3. But it felt like Longzhu had the cheat code. Longzhu was not going to fall into the traps that so many teams over these years have fallen into. It is a famous victory. I sat there on the World's Analyst desk last year for SKT versus Rocks. Rocks couldn't get over the line, and I said, the fairy tales don't come true, but I get to be front row center for the Longzhu fairy tale, an even taller tale. Who was Khan 6 months ago? Does a true rookie. He is a Royal Roader, Atlas, our first Royal Roader in the longest time. No professional experience, now a champion, and Prey and Gorilla, the most beloved bot lane in the world, actually beat SKT in a final for the first time.
Just unbelievable, cuz so deserving of that Royal Road title as well. I hope he gets a chance to lift up this trophy as Prey.
Listen to the crowd.
Just unbelievable.